The daffodils I wondered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of the bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gaze, and gaze, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought, for oft, when on my couch I lie in vacant, or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye which is the bliss of solitude, and then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances with the daffodils. To the daisy with little here to do or see of things that in the great world be, sweet daisy. Oft I talk to thee for thou art worthy, thou unassuming commonplace of nature, with that homely face, and yet with something of a grace which love makes for thee. Oft on the dappled turf at ease I sit and play with similes, loose types of things through all degrees, thoughts of thy raising, and many a fond and idle name I give to thee, for praise or blame, as is the humor of the game, while I am gazing. An undemure, of lowly port, or sprightly maiden, of love's court, in thy simplicity the sport of all temptations, a queen in crown of rubies dressed, a starveling in a scanty vest, are all, as seems to suit thee best, thy appellations. The little Cyclops, with one eye staring to threaten and defy, that thought comes next and instantly the freak is over, the shape will vanish, and behold, a silver shield with boss of gold that spreads itself, some fairy bold in fight to cover. I see thee glittering from afar, and then thou art a pretty star, not quite so fair as many are in heaven above thee. Yet like a star, with glittering crest, self-poised in air thou seemst to rest. May peace come never to his nest who shall reprove thee. Sweet flower. For by that name at last when all my reveries are past, I call thee, and to that cleave fast, sweet silent creature, that breathest with me in sun and air, do thou, as thou art wont, repair my heart with gladness, and a share of thy meek nature. To the cuckoo, O blithe newcomer. I have heard, I hear thee and rejoice, O cuckoo, shall I call thee bird, or but a wandering voice? While I am lying on the grass thy twofold shout I hear, from hill to hill it seems to pass, at once far off in the air. Though babbling only to the vale of sunshine and of flowers, thou bringest unto me a tale of visionary hours. Thrice welcome, darling of the spring. Even yet thou art to me no bird, but an invisible thing, a voice, a mystery, the same whom in my schoolboy days I listened to, that cry which made me look 1,000 ways in bush, and tree, and sky. To seek thee did I often rove through woods and on the green, and thou wert still a hope, a love, still longed for, never seen. And I can listen to thee yet, can lie upon the plain and listen, till I do beget that golden time again. O blessed bird. The earth we pace again appears to be an unsubstantial, fairy place, that is fit home for thee. The green linnet beneath these fruit tree boughs that shed their snow-white blossoms on my head, with brightest sunshine, round me spread of spring's unclouded weather. In this sequestered nook how sweet to sit upon my orchard seat, and flowers and birds once more to greet, my last year's friends together. One have I marked, the happiest guest in all this covert of the blessed. Hail to thee, far above the rest in joy of voice and pinion. Thou, linnet, that green array presiding spirit here today dost lead the revels of the May, and this is thy dominion. While birds, and butterflies, and flowers, make all one band of paramours, thou, ranging up and down the bowers, art sole in thy employment, a life, a presence like the air, scattering thy gladness without care, too blessed with any one to pair, thyself thy own enjoyment. Amid yon tuft of hazel trees that twinkle to the gusty breeze, behold him perched in ecstasies yet seeming still to hover, there, where the flutter of his wings upon his back and body flings shadows and sunny glimmerings, that cover him all over. By dazzled sight he oft deceives, a brother of the dancing leaves, then flits, and from the cottage eaves pours forth his song in gushes, as if by that exulting strain he mocked, and treated with disdain the voiceless form he chose to feign, while fluttering in the bushes. Right in early spring I heard 1,000 blended notes, while in the grove I sate reclined, in that sweet mood, when pleasant thoughts bring sad thoughts to the mind. To her fair works did nature link the human soul that through me ran, and much it grieved my heart, to think what man has made of man. Through primrose tufts, in that sweet bower, the periwinkle trailed its wreaths, and 'tis my faith that every flower enjoys the air it breathes. The birds around me hopped and played, their thoughts I cannot measure, but the least motion which they made it seemed a thrill of pleasure. The budding twigs spread out their fan to catch the breezy air, and I must think, do all I can, that there was pleasure there. If this belief from heaven be sent, if such be nature's holy plan, have I not reason to lament what man has made of man? To the skylark ethereal minstrel, pilgrim of the sky, dost thou despise the earth where cares abound? Or will the wings aspire, our heart and I both with thy nest upon the dewy ground? Thy nest which thou canst drop into at will, those quivering wings compassed, that music still. To the last point of vision, and beyond mount, daring warbler, that love-prompted strain, twixt thee and thine a never-failing bond, thrills not the less the bosom of the plain. Yet mightst thou seem, proud privilege, to sing all independent of the leafy spring. Leave to the nightingale her shady wood, the privacy of glorious light is thine, whence thou dost pour upon the world a flood of harmony, with instinct more divine, type of the wise, who soar, but never roam true to the kindred points of heaven and home. The affliction of Margaret, where art thou, my beloved son, where art thou, worse to me than dead? Oh, find me, prosperous or undone. Or if the grave be now thy bed, why am I ignorant of the same that I may rest, and neither blame nor sorrow may attend thy name? 7 years, alas! To have received no tidings of an only child, to have despaired, have hoped, believed, and been forevermore beguiled sometimes with thoughts of very bliss. I catch at them, and then I miss. Was ever darkness like to this? He was among the prime in worth, an object beauteous to behold, well born, well bred. I sent him forth ingenuous, innocent, and bold. If things ensued that wanted grace, as hath been said, they were not base, and never blush was on my face. Ah! Little doth the young one dream, when full of play and childish cares, what power is in his wildest scream heard by his mother unawares. He knows it not, he cannot guess. Years to a mother bring distress, but do not make her love the less. Neglect me. No, I suffered long from that ill thought, and being blind set pride shall help me in my wrong. Kind mother have I been, as kind as ever breathed, and that is true. I've wed my path with tears like dew, weeping for him when no one knew. My son, if thou be humbled, poor, hopeless of honor and of gain, oh, do not dread thy mother's door. Think not of me with grief and pain. I now can see with better eyes, and worldly grandeur I despise, and fortune with her gifts and lies. Alas! The fowls of heaven have wings, and blasts of heaven will aid their flight. They mount, how short a voyage brings the wanderers back to their delight. Chains tie us down by land and sea, and wishes, vain as mine, may be all that is left to comfort thee. Perhaps some dungeon hears thee groan maimed, mangled by inhuman men, or thou upon a desert throne inheritest the lion's den. Or hast been summoned to the deep, thou, and all thy mates, to keep an incommunicable sleep. I look for ghosts, but none will force their way to me. 'Tis falsely said, that there was ever intercourse between the living and the dead, for surely then I should have sight of him. I wait for day and night with love and longings infinite. My apprehensions come in crowds, I dread the rustling of the grass. The very shadows of the clouds have power to shake me as they pass. I question things, and do not find one that will answer to my mind, and all the world appears unkind. Beyond participation lie my troubles, and beyond relief. If any chance to heave a sigh, they pity me, and not my grief. Then come to me, my son, or send some tidings that my woes may end. I have no other earthly friend. Simon Lee, the old huntsman in the sweet shire of Cardigan, not far from pleasant Ivor Hall, an old man dwells, a little man, I've heard he once was tall. Full 35 years he lived a running huntsman merry, and still the centre of his cheek is red as a ripe cherry. No man like him the horn could sound, and hill and valley rang with glee, when echo bandied, round and round, the halloo of Simon Lee. In those proud days he little cared for husbandry or tillage, to blither tasks did Simon rouse the sleepers of the village. He all the country could outrun, could leave both man and horse behind, and often, ere the chase was done, he reel it, and was stone blind. And still there's something in the world at which his heart rejoices, for when the chiming hounds are out, he dearly loves their voices. But oh the heavy change! Bereft of health, strength, friends and kindred, see old Simon to the world is left in liveried poverty. His master's dead, and no one now dwells in the hall of Ivor. Men, dogs, and horses, all are dead, he is the sole survivor. And he is lean and he is sick, his body, dwindled and awry, rests upon ankles swollen and thick, his legs are thin and dry. He has no son, he has no child, his wife, an aged woman, lives with him, near the waterfall, upon the village common. Beside their moss-grown hut of clay, not 20 paces from the door, a scrap of land they have, but they are poorest of the poor. This scrap of land he from the heath enclosed when he was stronger, but what avails the land to them which he can till no longer? Oft, working by her husband's side, Ruth does what Simon cannot do, for she, with scanty cause for pride, is stouter of the two. And, though you with your utmost skill from labor could not wean them, 'tis little, very little, all that they can do between them. Few months of life has he in store as he to you will tell, for still, the more he works, the more do his weak ankles swell. My gentle reader, I perceive how patiently you've waited, and now I fear that you expect some tale will be related. O reader! Had you in your mind such stores as silent thought can bring, O gentle reader! You would find a tale in everything. What more I have to say is short, and you must kindly take it. It is no tale, but, should you think, perhaps a tale you'll make it. One summer day I chanced to see this old man doing all he could to unearth the root of an old tree, a stump of rotten wood. The mattock tottered in his hand, so vain was his endeavor, that at the root of the old tree he might have worked forever. You're overtasked, good Simon Lee, give me your tool to him I said, and at the word right gladly, he received my proffered aid. I struck, and with a single blow the tangled root I severed, at which the poor old man so long and vainly had endeavored. The tears into his eyes were brought, and thanks and praises seemed to run so fast out of his heart, I thought they never would have done. I've heard of hearts unkind, kind deeds with coldness still returning. Alas! The gratitude of men hath oftener left me mourning. O to duty, stern daughter of the voice of God. O duty! If that name thou love, who art a light to guide, a rod to check the erring, and reprove, thou who art victory in law when empty terrors overawe, from vain temptations dost set free, and counts the weary strife of frail humanity. There who ask, not if thy night beyond them, who, in love and truth where no misgiving is, rely upon the genial sense of youth, glad hearts, without reproach or blot, who do thy work, and know it not. Oh, if through confidence misplaced they fail, thy saving arms, dread power, around them cast. Serene will be our days, and bright and happy will our nature be, when love is an unerring light, and joy its own security. And they a blissful course may hold Eve now, who, not unwisely bold, live in the spirit of this creed, yet find that other strength according to their need. I, loving freedom, and untried, no sport of every random gust, yet being to myself a guide, too blindly have reposed my trust, and oft, when in my heart was heard thy timely mandate, I deferred the task, in smoother walks to stray. But thee I now would serve more strictly, if I may. Through no disturbance of my soul or strong compunction in me wrought, I supplicate for thy control, but in the quietness of thought. Me this unchartered freedom tires, I feel the weight of chance desires. My hopes no more must change their name, I long for a repose that ever is the same. Stern lawgiver, yet thou dost wear the Godhead's most benignant grace, nor know we anything so fair as is the smile upon thy face. Flowers laugh before thee on their beds, and fragrance in thy footing treads. Thou dost preserve the stars from wrong, and the most ancient heavens, through thee, are fresh and strong. To humbler functions, awful power, I call thee. I myself commend unto thy guidance from this hour. O let my weakness have an end. Give unto me, made lowly wise, the spirit of self-sacrifice, the confidence of reason give, and in the light of truth thy bondman let me live. She was a phantom of delight, she was a phantom of delight, when first she gleamed upon my sight, a lovely apparition, sent to be a moment's ornament, her eyes as stars of twilight fair, like twilights, too, her dusky hair, but all things else about her drawn from Maytime and the cheerful dawn. A dancing shape, an image gay, to haunt, to startle, and waylay. I saw her upon nearer view, a spirit, yet a woman too. Her household motions light and free, and steps of virgin liberty. A countenance in which did meet sweet records, promises as sweet, the creature not too bright, or good for human nature's daily food, for transient sorrows, simple wiles, praise, blame, love, kisses, tears, and smiles. And now I see with eye serene the very pulse of the machine, a being breathing thoughtful breath, a traveler between life and death. The reason firm, the temperate will, endurance, foresight, strength, and skill, a perfect woman, nobly planted to warn, to comfort, and command. And yet a spirit still, and bright with something of angelic light.